Right, I got a new mic system for when I'm videoing with my DJI or my phone or something like that, and I want to have a mic near my subject, mostly for interviews, but when I interview election events, it could be handy to be able to stick the mic up by the speakers. What I got was the Saramonic Blink500. Blink500B2 Plus, it's actually called. It comes with a remote plus two microphones. Now, first of all, the remote has got a clip on, so you can clip it onto the side of something if you need to. It's got a little screen. It's got a bunch of menus. You can set a bunch of things, including the noise reduction, and two blue indicators to let you know when something is or is not connected to it. At the moment, nothing's connected to it. Now, there's multiple ways to connect this to something. One way is through this little device here. That's the USB-C one. There is a iPhone one in there, and that just slides into there like that. Plugs into the back of your, into the USB slot of your phone, or the whatever the iPhone one's called. Don't use an iPhone, so I don't have a clue. So you've got that. Then you've got the A and B channel. Again, they've got two nice clips. The one thing I love about these is they've got a little magnet on them, which is quite strong, so that you can, like today I had mine clipped into this pocket like that, but if I really wanted to, I could put this on the inside down in here and use the magnet to hold it in place, and all you see is the magnet. In my case, it could be handy to clip onto a curtain at an event or something like that, and that would hold onto the curtain so that I can get some good audio. It again has got a couple of buttons. That one there, the green light indicates not only that it's on and connected, but also that it's on noise reduction, and I can turn noise reduction off on there. There. Now noise reduction is off, noise reduction is on. The amount of noise reduction comes in two settings, weak and strong, and that's set from this. It takes a little bit of getting used to getting through the menu, but once you've done it a couple of times, it's relatively easy to remember. Now, you can connect it through, like I just showed you there. Then there is this cable for connecting it to your PC, your big DSLR camera or whatever. It's got your standard little fluffies, and it's got another connector to connect it to your phone if you've got a phone jack or audio jack. My phone I use for a lot of this is my old phone, and it's got a audio jack on it. My new phone doesn't, but that's where this little gizmo comes in handy, because that's what connects to the phone. In fact, I'll show it set up on my big phone. It's pretty quick and easy, and being USB-C, you can have it either way around. In this case, I've got it that way around. So if I was blogging for myself, I can hold it in hey presto, or I could put it the other way around if I didn't want it sticking out this side. It doesn't make any difference. The only reason I used the audio cable on the other phone was because the phone was sitting in a backpack, and I didn't want this sticking out like that in the backpack because it might get moved. So that's the connectors and stuff. Now let's hear a bit of, I need my glasses for this, hear a bit of the audio today. This audio is me setting it up in here at my desk inside, standing up by my door, getting ready to go and putting it in the backpack, and then on the bike. Now if I've got my time codes right, it will start with me talking about
testing
setting it up.
the new microphone setup by
I'll let this run for
having
about 3 minutes.
Plugged into my other cell phone. The mic is in my pocket of my sweatshirt thingy here, on with the actual mic with the fuzzy on it poking out. I have also set the noise reduction to maximum. So I won't be doing a hell of a lot of narration, but I just want to see what it picks up. Starting Strava, starting Spotify, and we're all go. I will put the phone with the receiver in the
About this
middle
point,
pocket of
I'm
my
standing outside my door beside my bike,
backpack.
getting ready.
Right. Put on helmet. It'll also be an interesting test to compare the volume on this to the volume on my camera when I speak or when it picks up any sounds, because I'd expect the camera on the bike to be reduced volume because it's further away, but I would also expect possibly more noise on the bike camera due to
Now I'm
the fact
outside,
that,
and
again,
I'm actually riding
it's
now.
further away.
I think
So
this is the bit where
therefore,
I'm heading down the driveway.
the noise, although it's reduced because of the fluffy, might have a bit more of an impact. Also, the fluffy on this mic looks like it could be a better fluffy. So it'll be interesting to see how that compares. Plus, but then on the other hand, the camera on the bike, the mic is a little bit sheltered by the camera because it's on the back of the camera, whereas this mic is taking the full force of the wind hitting the fluffy.
Coming up here, we got some cars zooming past me, and they're quite close, which is why they're quite loud.
The wind is directly hitting the fluffy, so even though it's a thicker fluffy, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But there's no traffic behind me for a change. I haven't had that for a while. So anyway, coming up to the first set of lights from my place. Right.
So yeah, so that's a bit of from inside when I was setting it up, and plugging it all in and getting it going, through to putting it in my backpack, standing outside, getting my helmet on and things like that. Where that big loud beep was is turning my bike camera on, and pretty much within seconds I was off and gone. And what surprised me is you couldn't hear much noise other than me speaking, until I had a couple of close passes with some cars that came really close, and at that point there was an increased road noise. The one thing I am going to do, just out of curiosity, which unrelated to this mic setup, is go and have a look at the video for my bike camera and see how much volume it picked up relative to this mic system. The mic was right here, so from the point of view of narrating a bike ride, it actually is quite good. While I've got it for plugging into the DJI on the phone to video events, the other reason I wanted it was because it's got a 16-hour battery apparently before you need to start charging it again. And one of my ideas was to have it running while I'm doing a ride that's only a couple of hours long, out somewhere interesting, and narrate the ride as I go along. I would then clip the audio for different bits, but basically narrate it as I go along, because I've found narrating over the top of the video when I get back, I don't remember things that occurred at the time. While I can see the video and go from there, the thoughts are different. So I thought if I can narrate it while I'm riding and then bring that audio in rather than doing a post processing narration, I would at least have the ideas at the time. And if it's clearly there's not a lot of background noise, but if there was, I can always just listen to the audio, get the idea and feeling of what I was thinking at the time, then do a post-processing narration if I need to, because I'd be able to listen to that in my earphones and then just effectively repeat it. So, but it looks like it'll do a good job with the fuzzy and the noise reduction set to maximum. Looks like it'll do a good job of recording, or at least recording my notation as I go along, or I suppose you could also call it taking audio notes as I ride about things that may be of interest while I'm riding. So it is a good system. There are a few things I'd like to do different, like inside the case. That's an audio adapter for my DJI, but inside the case here, you've got see if I can do this without. You've got the receiver and the two transmitters, and then up here you've got that feels like the iPhone adapter, and that feels like the USB-C adapter there. Now, the only thing they could have done was make this lid a bit deeper, because you cannot leave a fluffy on the transmitter and close this case. It'll only close to about there, which is a bit of an inconvenience, because if you could leave the fluffy on the case, in the case on the mic or transmitter, and close it, then that's pretty much everything I need for most of what I want, instead of having to take this little bag as well, which has got all the bits and pieces in it. You know, it's just because this has also got a battery in it. So if you look at the transmitter's already charged, but if you look at the receiver, it's currently charging. Transmitters are obviously fully charged. They were blinking red before, but now they're not, so that means they must be charged. So yeah, so all in all, it's a good system, and it wasn't that expensive. It's about 2/3 of the price of the next one up. New Zealand dollars, it was 280 something bucks, compared to the 400 and something for the other one. And I couldn't see that the other one had any great advantages. It did have the facility to plug into a holder to use it like an ordinary microphone, which I have no use for, because if I need to interview someone, I'll just hold this or clip it onto them depending on what the situation is. Most of my interviews with politicians, see, it's on red now. Most of my interviews with politicians, the transmitter is sitting down their side of a cup of coffee or something or other, because I do it at a cafe, and you can't see the transmitter anyway. The one advantage with these is the transmitters are a little bit smaller than the Rode one, but my main reason was because I've got two of them. You can set, it's set on mono so that I get equal audio from each one, but I can manually adjust that if I need to, so you can have different audio input volumes from each of them. Stereo possibly might use occasionally, but that's quite literally where channel A and channel B are completely separate. So if there's no volume from channel B, all the audio you're getting is through your right side speaker or ear if you're listening to it, which for an interview would be fine because it would flip backwards and forwards, but I find for most occasions it's just easy to leave it in mono. It's also got a safety track mode, and what that does, took me a bit of research to find out, but what that does is it records channel A as full, whatever volume you set it at, and channel B slightly reduced. I honestly can't see a major reason for using that unless you're only wanting one channel and you wanted to use channel B as a backup channel, or you had a situation where one thing was definitely louder and then you just flick it to safety mode, and yeah, you'd have, but you can control the audio directly anyway, so I could set, the moment they're both set to 5 out of 6, I could drop channel A or B, whichever, down to 2 or 3, whatever I like. But otherwise it's a damn good system for its price range. And I've tested the distance a little bit. I haven't gone fully out to its full range, and I think it's 15 odd meters, I think, from memory, something like that. It's quite a decent range, 15 or so meters. I'd have to look it up, but it's far more than I would ever need. So yeah, but yeah, that's the Saramonic Blink500B2 Plus. It's a bit of a mouthful to remember and say, but yeah.